Another episode of Funky and the Champ. I'm fat. Jamal's like skinny fat. Right? You're skinny fat.
Take it back.
Today I chose violence.
I'm suing. Sue them. I had the mute on for the fight. Sorry, Daniel. I did mute you.
You guys are gonna be lifetime enemies because of the shit you say the moment you get a microphone in your face. Bro, you're crazy. What's up, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of Funky and the Champ. I'm Daniel Cormier, and that's Ben Askren. And today's episode is brought to you by Total Wireless, the official wireless provider of UFC. They're in your corner with unlimited data that will not slow you down. Ben Askren, what's up, my friend? You're not slowing down. Just like Total Wireless after last weekend in Las Vegas, right back to work with Funky and the Champ. Congrats on another successful weekend last weekend, my friend.
Thank you. Yeah, it was great. This was our first ever. There's not a lot of things we haven't got done at AWA, but senior U.S. Open champion was one of them. So we checked that box. Next thing we need to check is senior world medalist, and we're hoping to get that done this year.
Well, or maybe like an Olympian or something, huh? That might be
well
Olympian world team member or like something.
I kind of
like
count those as the same. I mean, you did both. So I think they're the same because it's like there's obviously every fourth year there's an Olympics, not a world. What?
So, Ben, wait, you made an Olympic team, but not a world team. So you're trying to jumble them all together. So wait, so Ben, were you?
Well, Olympics is harder. I did the harder one. I said I got this.
Wait, Ben. So were you one of the unfortunate ones of making the Olympic team, but not a world team? Is that what that is?
Yeah, I made it at 23. You didn't make anything before you were 23.
Yes, I did.
You did not make a senior world team before you were 23.
Yes, I did.
You are lying. You made the first one in 2003. How old were you in 2003?
So I'm 40.
What year were you born in?
1979. So I was 24. I was 24.
Ha! Gotcha.
God damn it.
Got your ass.
I think you got me. I was 24. You're right, bro. You're right. God dang it. I was 24. I actually might have been 25 because it was in the summer of 2000.
When's your birthday?
79. But
no, what day? What day? When's your
March
birthday?
20th. March
okay.
20th.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, Ben. So,
what?
God, I hate you. It's really frustrating that you're smart. Guess what, bro?
What?
I think you have someone that is willing to speak about the UFC in the same way that you do, because you guys are like respectful, but then you kind of take your shots, then you give respect, then you take your shot. It's like you give compliments hidden underneath like a little bit of hate. That's like your game. That's
I don't
your
hate
game when it
UFC.
comes to Dana White. No?
I recognize the strengths and weaknesses in Dana's character, and I don't gloss over the weakness parts. But yes, that's most human beings you meet. Like there's some things you love about them, respect about them, and there's some things like, I'm not so sure about this one. Dana maybe even to the extremes on both sides, of course. But yeah, I like this Eddie Hearn clip. I actually agree with him on some parts, and I actually disagree with him on some parts. And you watch boxing more than me, so he said something like boxing is killing it. I feel like boxing's dying. I am not a huge boxing fan, but that's what I feel like.
So it's kind of all perspective, right? Because the money in boxing is much bigger today than it's ever been. Those guys weren't making anywhere near what they're making today. I'm sorry, back then to what they're making today. Obviously, things change, right? Inflation, the economy changes, everything goes different, right? So
yes,
maybe the $10 million they were making in 1997 equates to what today, Ben? 30?
Yeah, somewhere in there, huh?
Yeah, right? So essentially, it's very relative. But in terms of numbers, different. Stars, not so much. Guys with the ability to sell, not so much. But I think that's across all platforms. In the UFC, they're not selling pay-per-views at the rate that they were before.
So I agree with that, but don't you think that, and this is a little bit to Eddie Hearn's point, but I kind of think it's by design, is that no matter who is fighting, if there's a UFC thing on, they're going to have X amount of people tune in. And, ESPN cares about the amount of subscribers to their ESPN Plus platform. And I think UFC has been killing it for them.
Yeah, the UFC's killed it for ESPN.
Yes.
But I'm talking pay-per-view buys. I think that sentiment that you just shared, where you said there's a baseline number of people that will buy every UFC. I
Yes.
think that number today is smaller than it was in the past, because I know on good authority that there have been some pay-per-views, Ben, that you wouldn't believe the numbers. Now, say a UFC pay-per-view sells 100,000 buys,
Yeah.
right?
That's really low.
Yes, that's what we would think.
Yeah.
In boxing, they do 100,000 buys constantly, and it's low. But because of the structure of how the pay-per-views are paid out, it's not as bad. Whereas the UFC, when it does 100,000, that's really bad. So he might be saying boxing's killing it when the numbers are pretty comparative, but because of the way that it's split in the revenue, they feel better about it.
So you just mean money to the fighters, or because I feel like, how many fighters on the UFC payroll, like 600 something to that effect?
No, dude, there's like 700 something guys on the
Okay, 700. Do you think? And so, like, if you're on the bottom of the UFC roster, you're probably making, what's the minimum now? 15 and 15 or something?
No. It's 12 and 12.
It's okay. It's 12 and 12 is the minimum. Are there 700 boxers on planet Earth that are making that type of money?
No.
And I bet the answer is not even close.
Not even half. Not even half of boxers make 12 and 12. They don't make that. Now, the bigger guys make a ton of money.
Yes.
All right, so just for to make a point, right? Eddie Hearn was on that show this weekend because there's a lot of people fighting on Friday and Saturday. So
this coming Friday, Saturday?
That's the problem. You don't even know.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't even know, but there's big name fighters. Canelo's fighting.
Okay.
Teofimo Lopez is fighting.
Okay.
Ryan Garcia is fighting. Yep. Javante Davis, I think.
Teofimo, he was on the undercard for me when I did the one boxing.
Really? Hey,
Yeah.
Luis, put it in the chat. Who else is fighting? Because it's Teofimo, it's Ryan Garcia, it's Canelo, it's Tank. I think it's Tank Davis, or if it's not Tank, it's the.
I've heard of all those guys.
Yeah, you've heard of them, but you didn't know that they're all fighting in New York City. It's a big deal.
Oh, why are they all fighting in New York City?
Bro, it's kind of like Beat the Streets. It's kind of like Beat the Streets.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. So they're all fighting on those 2 days. And what is, honestly, like, the matchups aren't great. Lou, throw the odds to those boxing fights. But they're putting on this blockbuster of an event, and people like you who's in combat sports don't even know it. Now, when Eddie Hearn goes, it's killing it. When Tyson Fury fights Francis Ngannou, it kills it. When Tyson Fury fights against Alexander Usyk, it kills it. Like, those fights kill it. We just don't have as many of those fights as we used to. Remember, we could get Tyson Holyfield. Yeah. We could get Riddick Bowe versus George Foreman. We could get Michael Moorer versus Tommy Morrison. We could get so many great fighters back in the day. All the while, Oscar De La Hoya's rocking and rolling. Floyd Mayweather's rocking and rolling.
Can I ask you a question, though, Daniel, here?
Go ahead.
So you're naming all these guys, right? But and this is my limited understanding of boxing. The UFC has, we'll say, 80 to 90% of the high-level talent in mixed martial arts.
Yes.
Is there any company in boxing that has anywhere near that amount?
Not like it used to be.
No.
Before a lot of guys were with Top Rank Boxing. They were with Top Rank. They were with Don King. Like, you had a few promoters that had all the guys. Now they're a bit spread out. And with TKO Boxing, right, they're going to be trying to draw in a lot of that talent themselves. Like, they already have Callum Walsh, who's been headlining cards for a long time. But look, Teofimo's a minus 225. Ryan Garcia's a minus 900. Devin Haney is the other one. He's minus 1,200. So they're kind of mismatches, right, in these fights. So they want to get eyes on the sport, though. But I listed to you right now 4 of the biggest names in the sport of boxing. And
all
you
in
didn't
one
know.
night. No,
Ryan Garcia is one of the biggest names, not for the best reasons, because he's out of his mind at times, but he's a part of it. But when Eddie Hearn is saying, I can't name 6 stars in the UFC, that's one of those areas right there, Ben, where I go, he's very complimentary of Dana saying they run a great business, they do this, they do this. But then it's also like, there's no stars there. But I think that in itself, Ben, if you do believe there aren't any stars there, that in itself lends to the idea that the UFC itself is what sells.
Correct.
And it's not the athlete. The only athlete that ever overcame that truly was Conor McGregor.
So I would say earlier. Oh shit! Did I pull something out? Am I good still?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I pulled off my eye. So earlier in the UFC's career, the lifespan of the UFC, they were more reliant on those. You think like Randy Couture had some contract disputes.
Yep.
Tito Ortiz, Chuck
Yep.
Liddell. I saw
Yep.
Chuck Liddell this weekend
Yeah, where?
at Vegas. He was there. You didn't see him?
He was at the tournament?
I think I think Dwayne's kid was wrestling.
Oh, it was Rockland. It was
Potentially,
Rockland.
and
It's
yeah,
Nick's son,
I
Rockland.
think Chuck was there. Anyway, so back in that they were more reliant on pay-per-views, but now there's a UFC card. I want to say is it 42 weeks per year, of which I think 10 of those are pay-per-views.
No, 13.
And
13. We have 13.
13. Okay, 13 out of the 42 are pay-per-views. There is no one putting this many fights on consistently in boxing, and I was thinking like I just looked it up because I actually thought they were bankrupt, but there was like that PBC who was Al Heyman was trying to buy a bunch of boxers
Yeah, I
back in
remember
the day
that.
and build something, but no one's been able to build it in boxing. So while I think Eddie Hearn maybe has a few points there, I just, as a non-boxing fan, I just can't get behind the fact that boxing is huge or as big as it's ever been. I don't feel that way at all.
But even with Fox, when the UFC left Fox, remember they put PBC on Fox to almost replace it, and that didn't last very long.
It flopped, right?
There's nothing that comes after the UFC and does as well because you're right. The UFC does have a core group of people, especially free fights.
Yes.
You're clicking through the channel. You got your remote. You're clicking, you see some fights, you might stop and watch. I don't know that you always do that with boxing. Here's one of those ones that I thought was a bit of a head scratcher because he's been in this business for a long time. So he knows and he understands. He goes, TKO is promoting Canelo versus Crawford. The combined value of those purses is anywhere between 120 and 150 million dollars. If that fight does 1.5 million buys or whatever, does that mean that when a UFC fight does 1.5 million buy, they are making $100 million?
I think the answer is yes.
Okay. So you think that the answer is just that? Yeah, but dude,
Zuffa's making a lot of money. But how many pay-per-views sell that much? There's probably been
that's what I was
7
about
in
to
history.
say.
6,
That's
5.
what I was about to say. Khabib and Conor sold 2.4 million.
And that was the biggest ever.
I will tell you from experience, being on the card with Brock Lesnar and
Yeah,
myself.
why didn't you get to fight Brock Lesnar? That was bullshit.
Yeah, because Brock went back to the WWE, man. Brock kind of screwed me a little bit.
Yeah,
But
that would
listen,
have been great.
bro, Brock Lesnar, myself, Amanda Nunes, UFC 200, 1.3 million buys.
Yeah.
1.3 million buys. I know what that equated to me in my pocket as a person that made pay-per-view points, but $100 million? I mean, what is it, Ben? 1.2 million buys at $69.99. Tell me that.
1.2
million.
Well, that's 69 million plus we'll say 14 we'll say $84 million approximately.
Right?
Yeah.
So
and I'm sure the pay-per-view gets a little cut of that or something.
Yeah, of course, but still like 84 million at 1.3 at 200,000.
Yeah.
Right? You're almost at $100 million. So
yes,
maybe it does, but even that, right? Even that, in saying that, what is the goal of that? To see like what's the UFC making opposed to what they're paying the fighter? Or like what? What's the goal in him saying that? Is he saying that whoever's going to pay these purses, who I believe is going to be Riyadh season? I believe that the Turkey, Sheikh Turkey and those guys will probably cover that. But what's the point in saying that? That there's just more money to give the fighters? Like, I'm trying to understand.
I think that's just one thing that boxing points to say we're better than you because they want to feel like they're better than them. But then to the point we made earlier, UFC has 700 fighters on roster. There's not 700 boxers making a decent living in the whole world. And so while the very, very top people may make more, the very bottom people make a lot less.
They do. I mean, Canelo probably makes $40 million. Him and Terrence Crawford must be making some big time money from the city. Those purses are 125. That's crazy.
I do think the UFC fighters are making kind of more than ever. I would be shocked, not shocked. I would be curious to see how many fighters, and we would include fight purse plus UFC sponsorship. So we'll exclude other sponsorships they may get, made more than say $250,000 last year. I bet the numbers like
Really high.
really, yeah, but it's a couple
It's way
hundred.
better.
And boxing is probably like way low.
I will tell you this. I know what I made to fight Derek Lewis.
Hmm.
And when it came out, and I don't know who told them, everybody was so surprised. But now I know of maybe 10 to 15 guys that are making that. It was astounding how
Yeah.
many guys are making that
Yeah.
number.
It's great.
Now, that was only 7 years ago
Yeah.
in 2018.
So
And huh?
I want to, can I ask you a
No,
question,
no, wait.
please?
We're almost done. Dude, what is your
I'm
problem?
so excited.
But I don't even know what it is.
It's
Like,
okay.
I don't even know what it is.
You're gonna have great opinions. It doesn't matter. Okay,
Okay, give it
finish
to me. I'll
this.
take it. All right, I'll give it to you.
Okay.
So wait. What's the verdict on the Eddie Hearn thing? Hater
Verdict.
or respectful of the UFC?
Okay. Verdict is he has some good points, and he has some points that are kind of stupid. Yes, the UFC has put at a premium the building of the UFC brand so that there's a baseline of fans who tune into the UFC no matter who's fighting. They may not know who's fighting, but Saturday they're tuning in to watch it on ESPN Plus or wherever it's streaming. I think there's positive and negative. That the positive would be there's more fighters earning a living in MMA than there is in boxing by a long margin. The negative is there are not as many stars earning the wages that there are in boxing. So plus and minus.
Yeah. I think that he respects the UFC. I also think that the UFC, if they do take anything from his words, you got to kind of listen to a guy that's been promoting fights for 30 years. He knows the game, right? He has to know something about boxing to have made it as long as he has made it. For as horrible as people make Don King out to be, Don King was with Muhammad Ali,
Oh my God.
right? Don King was with all those guys all the way through Mike Tyson. So he clearly understood the game, right? So if the UFC takes anything from Eddie Hearn, I would listen to some of his advice because he has been in the game for a really long time, and
Fair.
it's a new venture for the UFC. But those guys are smart, and they're going to employ the right people to guide them down the right path. But boy, what a way to kick off TKO boxing if you're promoting Crawford versus Canelo. That's a big deal.
Hey,
Ben,
I kind of so I'm sorry. Before we get to the gorilla thing, that's what I'm so excited about. Okay, I had to ask you. I thought Crawford was like a 145, and I thought Canelo was like a 170.
yeah, but it doesn't
Okay.
matter. Crawford's a 147. He was smaller when he was younger, but now he's going up. Dude, how do you not go up and fight a guy that fights it? Well, Canelo was a 154 pounder
He
originally.
fought
Every
Floyd
time he
one
goes
time.
up, it's just bulking and just he looks big. I
Yeah.
don't know what the catch weight is, but anywhere like in the 160-ish range, I'm pretty sure
Fair.
Bud is going to be willing to fight him. Dude, it's like $60 million. Could you imagine if he makes
No.
$60 million and he still lives in Omaha, Nebraska?
He probably has the biggest house. He's probably got a bigger house than Warren Buffett.
He's got the biggest house in the world, dog. Hey, his boys are really good wrestlers too.
Yes.
They won everything, man. They won like all those roller tournaments. They won them all. Those dudes are studs. His youngest boy at WrestleMania, he's like, I know you. You're the wrestler. And he was like sitting next to me, right? And the whole time he's walking with this belt, bruh. And every time he goes in front of me, he just kind of eyes me as he walks
How
past
old
me.
is he? How old is he?
He's like maybe 9 years old, 10 years
Oh my
old.
gosh, that's
Every
crazy.
time he walks past me, he's like, I was like, boy, I will body slam you.
Uh,
He's the man, though. All right, Ben, you go ahead. Get to that deal.
Gorilla.
All right,
There's
what
this
is
thing
going on,
online.
Ben?
You know what? There's this thing online, 100 men versus a gorilla. And Luis brought it up as a possible talk. And I thought, hey, we'd have fun with this. And I made one post about it. And I thought I would kind
What
of like
did you
to
get
debate
engaged?
this.
Was it engaged?
Yeah, it was engaged very well. But my post was, how many people is the gorilla going to kill before it gasses out? Because no one's talking about that. They're talking about how strong it is or how powerful it is. Every strong man, and listen, I was man, you're gonna love this.
Stop. Stop.
Okay.
Before you continue.
You're gonna love it.
It's story time. It's story time.
You did not
Before
fight a
you make your
gorilla.
point, I have to share this with you.
Okay.
All right. This is the best. So I have this friend named Freddie. He works for
Okay.
EA Sports. He's the producer and he oversees all of the voice work that John Anik and I do. He had this great idea that him and his wife or his fiance, I'm not sure, are going to go on an African safari,
Okay.
and then they're going to go into the mountains to see mountain gorillas, right? See where this is going. This is great. This is a great story.
Okay.
They go on this safari. He tells me it's amazing. He said the smells are ridiculous, though, like dead animals, people eating. He had a video of lions hunting a thing,
that's awesome.
and then he killed them. And I watched the video, and he go, bro, those their SUVs are right next to the kill, so you could smell all that disgusting shit. But after they're done with the safari, they go up to the mountain. He said there are like certain hikes. You can go higher or you can lower based on your fitness. They went higher. Yeah. They said there are rules when it comes to these gorillas. You cannot appear big. You have to put yourself small, and you have to make sure you're quiet. They go up into
how close are they getting?
They're like, just please listen. Please listen. Hey, so Freddie and his girlfriend or wife, I'm not exactly sure what they are. I think it's his wife, are with a group of people that they go. This group of people they know from family. They have a 21-year-old kid that is with them. 21-year-old boys are full of testosterone. And they like to mess around. Right? They like to mess around. So they go up. There's this whole family of gorillas. They're in the brush with them, Ben. They're like literally like right next to them. But then they see the silverback, the big one. What's it called? The male, the alpha. Silverback. The alpha, yes. Okay, the silverback. They tell them, if you see him, make sure head and appear small.
And you don't look him in the eye, probably, right?
You don't look at him. You do not look at him. So Freddie is standing in front of a rock. A big, like a boulder, like a rock.
Okay.
The silverback is there eating things. The kid, though, is behind Freddie on the rock. He's standing on the rock, Ben. So not only is he not cowering down, Ben, not only is he not cowering down, he is laying, he's like as big as you could ever imagine. Freddie said all of a sudden the thing looked at the kid, right? Boom, 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 ran. So Freddie goes, oh my God. And he turned his head down. Like he turned, oh my God, like scared. He said, next thing he knew, he woke up under the bush. It ran towards and slapped him on his back, Ben.
The gorilla slapped him?
The gorilla slapped him, Ben. He said, I told him, I said, wait, it hit you? He goes, it actually hit me. He said that because the kid was up, the kid then jumps down.
Why didn't it slap the kid? Should have got the kid.
Because when it started running, the kid went down. So like so he was in front of the kid. He said it hit him.
So that gorilla said, all you humans look alike.
Bro, it hit him in his back. He said he kind of was under the brush with half of his body in under a tree.
Yeah.
15 to 20 yards away, or 15, 20 feet away from where he was. He said he looked back because he goes, I had the most loudest and weirdest scream I've ever made in my life. He goes, I was fearful he was going to come and kill me. He goes, I look back. He goes, he's literally just sitting down eating again. No worries in the world. He was just hanging out. He said in that moment he realized like his rib felt like it was broken. He said that thing had hit him at about 5%. 5%.
How does he know what 5% of a gorilla is?
He said it went super small. He said it hit him barely. Bam. He said he could tell. He goes, it was like he was just like swatted a fly away. Like we go, get out of here. He said it was like it swatted a fly and it threw him 10 yards away under a tree. Before you make your point, that man weighs 170 pounds. 170 pounds, and it slapped him once, and he flew.
Okay.
He flew into the brush.
Did they have people with guns there to protect your man Freddie? Because Freddie
I told Freddie, I said, Freddie's an Asian guy. I go, bro, don't be doing that white person stuff. I said, that ain't for you. I said, they always see those, hey, you always see those people. They're in there with those gorillas, and they're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Why put yourself in that position? So now that I've told you that story, make your point. Look, the boy's a double champ. I'm your favorite podcaster, and now I'm an official role partner. Fellas, whether you're in or you're out of that bedroom with your partner, significant other, you got to satisfy those needs. It's as important as it comes, guys. And one thing about Ro, when you're in that bedroom, Ro Sparks got you back with his long-lasting functionality. 2-in-1 prescription treatment for guys who just want a little more control of those erections. You know them old thing get away from you every now and again if you're not careful. And it don't take long either, because after they dissolve, they work in about 15 minutes on average. Hey, I love that. You gonna love that. So if prescribed, new sexual health patients, you get $15 off of your first order of Sparks on a recurring plan. So connect with a provider at ro.co/DCTV to find out if prescription Rose Sparks are right for you. That's ro.co/DCTV for $15 off of your first order. Hey, y'all don't have to thank me yet, but you will thank me later when you get on those Rose Sparks. Let's go.
All right, so I was thinking, my point on the one thing I said on Twitter is, how many humans would the gorilla kill before the gorilla gassed out? Because everyone's neglecting cardio here, because cardio is a thing. So then I was thinking, I actually thought of a black fighter who gassed out, but I said, I don't want to use him because people might say I'm comparing a black man to a gorilla, which I'm not. So you know who I thought of, and I actually saw him last weekend. I don't know if you saw this fight, but I have never seen a human being so tired. I saw Kellen Flukinger from Arizona State this weekend. Okay. I kind of put myself in harm's way because he was kind of standing up.
He's a fighter now?
No, he was. I mean, Kellen Flukinger graduated 2005, maybe a couple years before me.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyways, he was standing in front of people. I said, hey, Kellen, is there anywhere you could sit down? Because he is like, he's a ginormous human. I mean, he's super tall, big ass shoulders. Like, this is a big, large man. And he fought in Bodog, and I don't remember why, but they fought on the beach. Bro, he would take this guy down, and he was so tired he'd lay on him. And they say, okay, you're standing up. He would have to use the ropes to get up.
No.
Yes, he would. Oh, you go up. And then he did take the guy down again and lay on him again. And he was like climbing up the ropes. I've never seen a human being this tired. But as we know, even dangerous human beings who have trained for this get tired. So it's like, okay, I was just doing the math. If the gorilla can kill a human in, say, 15 seconds, well, 100 humans, that's 1,500 seconds, okay? That's like 25 minutes. Can the gorilla really fight hard for 25 minutes? And I think the answer is, hell no, that gorilla can't fight for 25 minutes.
He can't fight for 25, but
no way.
Ben, every time they're running at him, he's just bang, bang, bang. 100 men have no chance. I would have thought.
I just told you it can't fight for 25 minutes.
It will not take 25 minutes because
15 seconds. That's 15 seconds a person, Daniel.
No, when you all run, first off, you're all gonna jump on him, and he's gonna go rah like, and you're all gonna fly. He's gonna literally go boom, and he's gonna like open his arms because you're all on him. First off, he's biting, he's scratching, and he's slapping the shit out of you. And every time he hits you, boom, you fly.
Okay, hey, well, hold on. Wait, let me can I pose one thing? I thought, because I was thinking, okay, if I had 100 people, what would be the strategy? What if you just like run at him, like fake, and then run away, and then someone else runs it, so he's always like moving,
But he's going to charge. He's going to charge.
You're evading him, so then you run. Everyone just evades him, but you kind of like antagonize. Like, Daniel, I know at some point in your wrestling academy, you've been saying some mean shit to them little kids, and they're like, let's get Daniel. And they all try to attack you. Every once in a while, these little kids do it to like Kellen Wolbert, one of the high school kids that's teaching. It only takes about 4 of them to get him.
They never get Kellen Wolbert. You're a liar.
Yes, there was like
those
4
little
or 5
kids did not get Kellen Wolbert.
They did.
Unless they're all like
110-pound
kids.
His legs. 2 of
they're
them.
like 110-pound kids grabbing him.
Like 80, 70, 80. I don't know, somewhere in there.
BS, Ben. But yes, the gorilla literally is just slapping at you. I'm telling you, every time you get close, it hits you.
What about
like
trained fighters?
Freddy.
Not weak human beings. I don't know if Freddy's weak or not.
They're 1,000 pounds.
Okay, what if I get 10 trained fighters, and then we'll say 90 just solid, strong men?
And there's some real problems with that, bro. There's some psychological issues with the 90 strong men because they have this belief that they're supposed to have a chance.
No, that's what I'm saying.
No, man. It makes it worse. If you don't have enough respect for what you're against, it's going to be worse. I watched Khabib wrestle a bear, bro. I watched Khabib as a little boy wrestle a bear. And the bear was getting him. It was a baby bear.
How do you know that was a baby bear? I said Khabib pin that bear.
Yes, but it's a hard match. It's a hard match. If that bear is full grown, you have no chance, bro. We have no idea.
I know you saw this, Daniel. I know I'm going to throw a great callback. Have you seen One More Shot? The wrestling movie.
Yes.
John Smith's in there, and Wayne Boyd, crazy Wayne Boyd, wrestles a bear in there. And I think he pins the bear.
Yeah, but that's Wayne Boyd for you. Only Wayne Boyd would pin the bear. Like, come on, man. Hey, you know,
All right. How about Louis said?
shoot.
How about 100 Daniel Cormiers versus a gorilla?
I'm getting my ass kicked over and over again.
Bro, you come on, dude. I believe in you.
You guys have no idea. Like, it's like the most ridiculous conversation of all time. I can't believe we're doing this on our show.
What about,
like,
I just told you, okay, you just told me in the beginning. I said the gorilla can kill a human every 15 seconds.
And but it don't need to kill you. It just
that takes 25 minutes.
Bro, it just needs to hit you. Dude, it hit Freddie soft.
What if you,
like really trying to hit you?
You run at him, he swats, he misses. You know, that makes him more tired.
Every swat that connects breaks a rib or something. Every
swat, that's not death. That guy gets up and fights some more. Take a couple swats.
A broken rib. You remember when your rib popped when you're getting gut wrenched and you're on the ground?
It doesn't feel good.
It hurts.
Still battle because this is life or death. This is like, you know, I mean, we have to make it real life or death, like war, where the men are actually fighting to the death.
We better have some spears or something because that gorilla gonna eat your life.
No, they said unarmed.
And I'm running. I'm choosing life. I'm taking out. You
can't run in a cage or something. Like a big
y'all 99
dudes.
Y'all 99 dudes, man. Y'all 99 dudes with a chance. Hey,
I can't believe you.
That's actually crazy that's going around. I got that text the other day. DC, 100 UFC fighters are a gorilla. I'm like, a gorilla all day.
No way. We're gassing it out. We're gassing out. Hey, do you know which fighter I was thinking about that was black that gassed out? Because I brought up
Derek Lewis.
No, it was actually, I believe it was against Derek Lewis.
Francis?
No, Charlton Almeida.
Oh, he got so.
Don't you remember? Didn't he wasn't it Derek Lewis where he just sat against the cage?
It was against Curtis Blades. It was against Curtis Blades.
Oh, Curtis Blades. That's who it was.
Kept shooting. And he just
so
exhausted, and Curtis knocked him out. But again, we're talking about cardio, Ben. The fighters have to not get tired either. The amount of energy you're putting out.
You're not fighting. 100 people aren't fighting. There's like 90 standing in back and maybe 10 are fighting at a time.
I think you actually believe that 100 men can take a gorilla.
I actually do. Yes. I think you and others, you're only thinking about the gorilla in prime form at the beginning of the fight, but you're not listening that he has to not gas out for 15 seconds per human. That's 25 minutes.
Every tooth is like this big, bro. Every tooth is like He's
got to go catch him and bite him though.
Every tooth is like this big. I can't believe you actually
You just told me the gorilla could not fight hard for 25 minutes.
No, he can't, but he don't need to. He's
okay, how long can he fight hard for? 10 minutes?
I think the gorilla's done with y'all in 10 minutes max.
10 minutes. That would be like 6 seconds per human being.
Every
bullshit.
Man is done by the gorilla in 10 minutes.
No. He's killing a human every 6 seconds. There ain't no way he's catching him in 6 seconds. Give me a break.
The moment you get close, you're done. And then he's gonna stop. He's not gonna just keep running around chasing you.
That's why people need to keep coming at him.
They're literally smart. They're smart. They're actually smart animals.
You know, you come out, you slap him in the back of the head, then you run away.
No, you're so crazy. By the time you slap his head, you're done. You're so stupid.
He can't reach. There's no way you reach.
I'm done with this. I am done with this conversation.
All right, you guys vote. Tell Daniel I'm right that the 100 Daniels.
In the comments, tell me if Ben is right because I think it's so ridiculous. And I can't believe we spent 8 minutes on this.
100 Daniel Cormiers are beating a gorilla. I'm betting my house on that.
Shut up, Ben. All right, guys, that was another episode of Funky the Champ. Thank you to Total Wireless for always backing the channel. Thank you, Ben, for joining. I appreciate you. Until next time, guys, that's Ben Askren. I'm Daniel Cormier. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
100 Daniels. Taking it.
You're stupid.
I actually am, though.